So under the cumulative effects model, we're going to start looking at some lifestyle effects. And the first thing we're going to look at is socialization. And socialization simply has to do with learning to fit into society. We're socialized beings. We learn how to fit into society and culture, the culture that we're from. Right? We're not just automatically born knowing the language. We're not just automatically born knowing what right and wrong is that could be specific to a particular society. We learn these things. In the past, we've learned these things from our parents. We might learn them from our friends, our peers. And we might also have learned these things through the stories of our cultures. Before we had the written word, this is when we were all sitting around in the cave or a campfire or something, and we had somebody who was kind of in charge of our oral histories, and they would sit around and tell us different stories. Sometimes it had different parables in them, but these things all told us kind of the ways in which we are to behave and are not to behave in any given society. That has changed. The advent of television is probably one of the bigger changes, or one of the bigger events that have changed this. We can talk about print media. Okay? We went from having these storytellers to having right? We no longer had these kind of religious people telling us what's the right way to live and what's not the right way to live. Now we have holy we then can start talking about television or newspapers. Newspapers, we would have early on we would have kind of mornings, and then we would have the nightly newspapers. That we pretty much have mostly morning newspapers now, except for maybe the local papers. Local papers are usually delivered later in the day before people get off work. With the advent of television, now we spend a whole lot of time watching TV. Right? As you can see, the only thing that kids do more than watch TV is sleep. So television has taken over a lot of our socialization processes. If we talk about pro-social, we're talking about pro-social socialization. This has to do with when the socialization perpetuates positive values. These are positive things. Be good to one another, don't cheat, don't steal, don't beat each other up, all those kinds of things. Now, our living patterns have changed. And if you disagree with any of this, you can feel free to kind of interject here. In the past, there were things that parents and adults just really didn't talk about around kids, right? Divorce, arguments among parents, all of those kind of things, right? But those were grown-up, adult kinds of topics, and kids were shielded from those. Now, not so much. You turn on your favorite sitcom or your favorite nightly television show, and you have all of these things wrapped up into a single episode. Okay? So we could say that kids are growing up faster.